Recording in progress.
Okay. For those who join here, they can participate also. So, oh, that's a surprise. Thank you. You know, I value your time, your presence, and you. It just so happens that the lunar alignment, the star alignment, this is Krishna Paksha, this is Dvitiya, and so while it is semantics, I figured, but still it is a second chance, and so why not? And holy is everything burned down. You have to start. And so it had happened with Prahlad, right? So much so, by everything, literally his body was being burned, and on the occasion of Holi, like whoever we think we are. If I am burned, what matters what I have or have not? I have myself. That was what was happening with Prahlad, and yet he emerged right out of that fire. All vices, the Holika, was burned, but the pure goodness could not be burned. And so it is that ultimately pure goodness, real truth, goodness, love, it imperishable. They may be suppressed. Earlier today, this morning, we had another session, and I was sharing that there's a saying in Hindi that says, it's a simple truth, that Sach ko aas nahi or jhoot ke pair nahi. Jhoot is a lie, right? That which is not true, not real. It doesn't have any legs. It cannot go anywhere. In other words, it cannot run away. It cannot hide. Or sach ko aas nahi. Truth, on the other hand, is fearless. It doesn't matter how much it is suppressed, how much it is hidden. It always, forever remains in the same glory. Truth. So truth, goodness, love, these inherent qualities, the Satchidananda Swarup that we have, those can never be burned. And so that's a story, but we've also learned in the Gita, in the second, you cannot be burned, this cannot happen, that cannot happen. Sure enough, Prahlad in his original form came out, situated in his goodness. And so what I shared during Dhyan was almost my own resolution that came out, commitment, that may I be actively quiet. Not just quiet, not just silent, not just stuck up, quiet because I think this, I think that, I don't agree. I'm actively quiet. Internally, perhaps quietly active, right? But externally, maybe actively quiet, so that I may focus some of that energy and attention, really. Because when we're talking, we cannot attend to many other things, then we're really focusing on what we're talking about. My priority is staying connected, right? Yoga is connection. Like this, if this disconnects, the battery will deplete and die. It has to stay connected. I have to stay connected with my original nature, internal original nature, Sat, Chit, Ananda, my original nature. I have to practice connecting with that until I realize that I am that, which is then, it's called self-realization, right? That, I no longer have to be connected with it. I actually am that. Once that state of mind converts into that. Gold does not have to stay connected to gold. Once gold understands that it is gold. But a piece of jewelry may have to think frequently and say, wait, I'm not this, or I'm not that, I'm not this little, I'm actually gold. No matter what is made of me, my value does not degrade. This is just, I might look small here or big here or whatever, but I am still the same substance. So it may have to internally think again and again until it realizes that, you know what, I don't care whether I'm an earring or a nose ring or a bracelet or an anklet. I am gold and I'm going to remain gold. Have at it, make whatever you will from me, of me, right? So until then we have to remain constantly connected. Again, this I'm speaking to myself. Actively quiet, constantly connected, so that we may remain in our pure goodness, because we are pure goodness. There's just no if, buts, and thens about it. There is no question about it. There is no doubt about it. This is the truth that cannot be perished or suppressed. But we don't feel it that way. I don't feel that way necessarily, because I'm disconnected. I'm disconnected because I'm not actually quiet. I am not giving myself any chance. to connect, reconnect, again connect. As I more and more I connect, I see the goodness flowing through me. And so of sorts, one resolution that I shared during Dhyan, the shloka that I recited from the Gita, 9th chapter, 22nd. I know that we want to do 15th chapter a little bit today, continue as well. Ananyaschintayanto mam ye jana pariyopasate. It's a very famous slok. It comes at the end of Vishnu Sahasranam also. It's one of the more popular shloks. The Panditjis in the mandir and them all, they recite this shlok quite frequently as well. Especially during any kinds of celebrations, particularly when someone has died or when something really serious, that this shlok comes up. But essentially it says that Jai Shri Krishna, Chandra, Happy Holi. We just celebrated Holi, you missed it. So although your pictures, I showed Madhvi. Your picture, Holi picture.
Oh yeah.
Told it all. We celebrated internally, just splashed into our own colors on ourselves through Dhyan during that. Good to see you. Happy New Year also. Chaitra has begun.
Yes.
Just for quick context, this is Krishna Paksha of Chaitra Mas, and it happens to be Dvitiya, which is the second day. My interpretation of it is a second chance. And so what we meditated on, I'll put it on WhatsApp and you can hear it, is how am I going to use my second chance? If I really got a second chance today, if I could go back and start from scratch, I think I screwed up this, screwed up that. I wish I could have done this way, that way. How could I go back? And the truth is, today we have a second chance. This is like the only truth, in fact, that we actually have a second chance. That we can start again and do it all over again. If we did, and I don't know if I'll get a third chance or not, when tomorrow Tritiya will come, but I don't know if I'll be there, and therefore today I am here and Dvitiya is here. I got my second chance. How would I do it? What would I do it? So I brought something to share with you, which I had put on WhatsApp, and I may have shared in the past also, which I think is very, for me, this has been helpful in my own Gita journey. I came up with this a few years back, and then it just occurred to me as we were doing Gita Yoga in India, in the temple also, because it might help create some guardrails, if you will, around, okay, now I don't want to slip and fall and make the same mistakes. I want to be efficient, I want to be right, all that, right? I want to live in truth, I want to be purely good, I want to be constantly connected. This is what we did talk during Dhyan. And I want to be actively quiet. What is the Gita's framing around that? What have I picked up from the Gita? How did I process the Gita? So this is just purely my interpretation of it. This isn't from any scriptures or from any other real saints or realized souls or anything like that. But I think because it's from an ordinary person like me, it might be more helpful, possibly. That it might make it easier, more palatable for you, that if that guy could use that framing, maybe I can too. So I think I'll share that as a way to start on the second chance that we get. One time I had shared that really every breath that comes is another chance also, right? In the Puranas it's stated that we call oxygen pranavayu, literally in Sanskrit. When we saw during COVID that if you don't have access to pranavayu, to oxygen, everything is the same, but you just don't have that, and nothing then matters. If you cannot touch oxygen, if the lungs cannot absorb, cannot retain oxygen for a while, for a little bit, then nothing really matters. Everything is worthless, useless. It is that critical, right? That having access to oxygen is that critical, pranavayu. And that oxygen, it is said, is the exhalation, the breath of Vishnu, of Narayan, that is constantly inhaling and exhaling. And his exhalation is just pervading the entire cosmos. And wherever it touches, it comes to life. The plants and the birds and the snakes and the animals and the humans. And so every time it touches, As it's a reminder from God that, look, I am with you. You are alive. I'm here. You can use this. You can use this opportunity to realize your unity with me, to reconnect with me, to claim your glory, to reestablish in truth, in goodness, in pure goodness, in love, to let go, to burn like holy, burn everything else, and just be free. This breath has brought me to you, as if the Lord is saying, these are my interpretations, but I think they're real. That this breath has brought me to you, as if the breath is reminding me, use my presence. And we use it for something different. When you get back into the 15th chapter, this is where we had left off. Sanjeev Bhai, last time when we had done Mama eva ansho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana mana shasthani indriyani prakritir sthani karshati. That you're a part of me. Nothing can happen to you. You're essential. He said, Mama eva ancho. You are mine alone. Mama is mine. Eva alone. Ansha is part. You are so integrally connected with me. You're so much in me. I'm so with you. He's emphasizing. Jiva bhuta sanatana. But every time I send you a breath, mana shashtani indriyani, instead of realizing that, akarshate, you go outward. You use the power that the breath brings, the chetana, the chaitanya, the cognition, the cognitive power that it brings with you, the ability to grasp, to know, to understand, to cognize. So, well, let me see what this is, let me see what this is, let me hear what that is, let me taste what this is, everything from outside. Touch, hear, sense, smell, all that. And then the breath is depleted and it goes away. Well, I come back again. 6 times, 7, 8 times each minute. I come back again. Okay, I'm here again. Next breath. Do you have time for me now? Do you want to cognize me internally? The Lord is saying. As soon as you get that, because नाक पकड़ के रखो, जब मरने के तो भगवान याद आ जाए. Like as soon as we run out of breath, those who are on ventilator, those who belong to those who are on ventilators are praying to God. कैसा भी करके हनुमान चालीसा ये वो चौपाई सब क्यों वो ऑक्सीजन नहीं हो मर. They're out of breath. As soon as the breath comes, though, they're all praying for the breath, for the oxygen, for the pranavayu, for the Lord to come back in that form. As soon as back, mithai bato khao pio sabji ho gaya. So as soon as the breath came in, I'm completely immersed in the external world, outside whatever is happening. This is that shlok where we left off, where we will pick up when we come back to it. And that depletes, goes away. I have never given up on you. Krishna says, the Lord says, since you were born, you've been breathing. Every breath I've been coming to you. And because I cannot, the Lord cannot, right? The ocean cannot let go of the wave. It's physically, scientifically, logically not possible for the ocean to say, the hell with you, you guys don't care about me, I'm leaving. Or where are you going to go? Wherever you go, the waves will be on you. The waves are with you. You are the wave. So it's not possible for God to leave us. But still the waves are miserable because waves are thinking they are the waves. Instead of realizing that, well, they are part and parcel, a portion of the ocean. So each time the breath is coming, it's a second chance. And then I let go of that because I run away externally. All right, well, another one came in. Third chance, fourth chance, fifth chance, thousands, 10,000, millions of chances being given. So we do have to catch that one chance where we start dipping inside, going back in, realizing. And then it doesn't matter whether we go outside or inside, because the joys of the external world no longer, and they'll cease to be even marginally attractive compared to the joy within. But that's when we come back to that shlok. We're not there yet. I was talking about if I had a second chance, how would I live? And that's how I looked at the Gita years ago when I had begun. So when you start on a journey, you're a sadhak. And this is something that I've covered previously, but I think a revision never hurts. I know Madhvi's heard it a few times. A sadhak is a seeker, because we're searching for something. Right? The sadhya is what I am seeking. Whatever I'm searching for, the meaning, the purpose of whatever goal, whatever objective I am. That's my sadhya. Until I reach that, because I want that, I am a sadhak in Sanskrit. And the process that I follow to go from here, point A as the sadhak, to my sadhya, we call sadhana, right? Sadhak is doing sadhana to get to sadhya. And the tools that we use in the process, like Gita, or Guru, or Mala, Kanthi, Mantra, Temple, Naivedya, Prasad, whatever, any tool that we use, it's called sadhan. Look at this sadhanam, Guru Marginam, sadhan ka upyog karke. So a sadhak uses a sadhan to do sadhana to reach the sadhya. So there is the seeker in the beginning, there is the sadhak in the beginning. And when you reach the sadhya, that same person is called the siddha. We've heard of that word, right? Siddha Purusha, Siddha Mahapurusha, Siddha Atma. Siddha means achieved, accomplished, fulfilled, not half-filled. Right? As I often remind, fulfilled. Not just filled, not just half-filled, fulfilled. The only way to tell if someone is fulfilled or if some part is if you put a little more, starts to overflow. The only way it is fulfilled is there's no more space to keep. And there's the stream of joy is always flowing. Therefore, those who are fulfilled are actually overflowing with joy. Literally overflowing with joy, because they don't know where to keep it. And the joy does not stop. Right? The stream of joy does not stop, because it's a steady stream. And they're already fulfilled. So what's going to happen? They're going to overflow with joy. And therefore, whoever is around is going to start experiencing that joy, which, by the way, is their own joy also. So fulfilled, a siddha is a fulfilled soul, having reached, having tapped into, having accessed that undepleting ocean of joy. So this is all doable. This is not play up on words. This is not inaccessible to us. This is not for the Siddha Purush. This is for sadhaks like you and me. Right? Gita was for...
something unrelated, but I guess while you're going through this, we talked about the paper that
you and I did, yeah.
So
2-3 days ago.
At least because that's fresh in my mind, I'm trying to incorporate
Please.
a little bit of that. Just for information, I wrote something on consciousness and I showed it to Jitubai.
Like that, because the whole reality that we think of anything has been brought by the substance that's in it, right? Is I think the way I'm receiving what you're saying. Otherwise, the form would just be an imagination. Because the substance is in it, it has become real. It's an unreal form. And how ironic it is that we take that form to be real. And this is something to think about, really. We take the form to be real, for becoming forgetful of the substance in it. And when, as Sanjeev Bhai so astutely pointed out, it really is the substance that has given the form any reality. Without the substance, it was just pure imagination.
So it's sort of like without consciousness, everything else,
yeah,
the physical world,
yeah,
without consciousness, it would just remain a concept.
So that is easy to understand. What's difficult to understand is if I am a man, I'm this substance, the bones, the flesh, and the bloods, the blood and the vessels and the hair and all that. So maybe I'm that, but I'm not that. Right, like I am not that. That's still, this is the form of a body, and the body's substance is that. I am made of something else. My substance is Sat, Chit, Ananda. That's the spiritual. So the trouble starts to occur when we start mixing the spiritual with the material. The concept is great. I love it, the way you interpret it. But I'd caution you to make sure that you keep clarity between the spiritual and the material. Otherwise, people who read your paper or who listen to you might say, okay, great, I understood that I am real because I have this substance in me, the material in me. And that's far from truth. Well, you're not matter. The real us is not material, right? And so you do have to take them to then what is the substance of me? This is the substance of the body. What is my substance? What am I made of? And that's that Satchidananda Swarup. But I completely get it. Does that make sense what Sanjeev is saying? Mm-hmm. That's a very new way. Any other thought? Ashay? Darshan bhai?
I feel
Exactly.
I'm
yeah.
sorry, I'm interfering. But I'm just taking his example, but I'm
Yeah.
saying that, like,
Yeah.
to
No.
experience or to know.
And there is indirect the power in this.
And that consciousness is that light is not tungsten, right? Like light, it is an energy. The tungsten or not, light exists. Or even if you take it even further, actually, more relevant is whatever light falls on, whatever that light is not light, right? Light is still light, no matter what it falls on, no matter what happens to whatever it fell on. How much injustice or justice or glory or horror, light still is light, right?
And it does not need a form, or it does not need
doesn't select
Form or not.
what to fall on.
Right.
It's like where our consciousness, like, I don't know why it was like, came like this to me, but it's like our consciousness.
Good imagination. Take it. No, seriously. Yeah. Take it further. You can drive it a little farther. I don't want to. I don't want to disrupt your vision where you're going with it, with how I think, and maybe after this session you and I can talk more about it. So you get the idea. Any other, Purvi and Madhi, any other thought on that before we really get into so what? Like, what's the second opportunity? What am I going to do with this chance? Okay, all right. So my framing has been, so I was talking about seeker, right? Sadhak. I was seeking something. This is the truth. I think everybody is. Knowing or not knowing, I think every living being, particularly every human being, like every single, is seeking something. The only difference is whether they know it or don't know it. Then everybody is. And those who think, those who know, say I know, whether they're right about it, is that what they're really looking for, or was it something else that they were looking for? And so my point is, everybody's a seeker. I think whoever is born as a human here is a seeker. And where Gita comes in is everybody can become a Siddha also. It clearly, boldly says that everybody has a right to become a Siddha. Everybody can reach that end. The glory of the Gita is that the Gita reaches wherever that seeker is. It does not say that I'm going to sit here, I am this unhappy. You do all these rituals, this, that, and then I'll see if you're eligible, if you're pre-qualified. If we're open-minded, then the Gita is going to come and uplift us like a mother comes to the child, wherever the child is hurting. Not just, well, I'm going to sit on my sofa, if you want, come to me, right, to a crawling baby. Hence Gita Mata. And so that process of going from sadhak to siddha, I framed it in two ways. First, I'll pass this around. I call this the Gita Yoga ecosystem, the seeker, or the sadhak. I created this Venn diagram of three aspects of it. I call it the ecosystem, by the way. Also, someone asked me one time, why ecosystem? Because to me, ecosystem, the concept represents the fragility and the robustness and the comprehensive, tied together subsystem. Right? An ecosystem would be like the cosmic ecosystem, the environmental ecosystem. These are such a robust subsystem, but they're very fragile. Their ties are very fragile. We talk about the weather balance, for example, the water cycle or whatever else. Or the human system. There are different subsystems within us, the respiratory, the digestive, and the nervous and all of that. In of themselves, they are robust, but they also are connected to each other. And so it's not enough for me to only pay attention to my digestive system or to my nervous system or muscular system. I also have to keep attention to the balance between that, to the entire ecosystem. And so where Gita to me came as unique is it actually brings the whole ecosystem. It brings all the subsystems. And it isn't even massive. It isn't in anything very big. It is nothing that I cannot comprehend. To me, it came as three central themes that it brought, the three subsystems, if you will. One here I call Dharma Nishta, which translates to ever dutiful. Dharma comes in two flavors. We'll talk about that. One is like this normal dharma and one is the original dharma. So dharma nishtha, apeksha rahit, which is expectation free, and then sharanagat, which is aligned, God aligned, right? So for a sadhak who is starting on this path of seeking, I'm seeking something, I'm seeking joy, happiness, freedom, anxiety free, jealousy free, expectation free, like just lovely, beautiful, bindas, first class life. That's what I'm seeking. Maybe I'm seeking where have I come from, where do I go? Maybe I'm seeking, is there someone there? Who is it? Where is he? How is she? Whatever it is, that for us to go through that channel, I have to commit to these three practices, that I will be dharmanishta, I will be apeksha rahit, and I will be sharanagat, right? I have to commit because the Gita teaches that that is the way to get to your original state. Through that, by doing that, ultimately you realize that you're light. You're not the object that you've fallen on. You're gold. Don't worry about, oh, ये टूट गए, इसको पिघला के दूसरा बना देंगे. Oh my God, I'm going to finish because I broke and they're melting me. I'm going to die. You'll never die. No matter what they make, when they make, you'll still be the same. Right? That sort of. Not just that you will always be that, always exist, but you will be gold. You'll be a noble metal. You'll always shine. You'll always be pure. You'll always be good. So all those characteristics like that. So dharmanishta is ever beautiful. Only the one, as I say, only the dutiful are really beautiful. Because handsome is what handsome does. So truly dutiful or beautiful as well. If I'm a father, if I'm a son, if I'm a husband, if I'm a neighbor, if I'm a brother, if I am in this name and form, kept here as part of a system, of a larger system, dharma to me means upholding the system integrity. Dharma is not a bombastic word that I have to read this shloka, I have to do this yajna, do this, that. It's actually common sense. It's simple. Look at the system around you. And I am a part of the system. I'm a component of the system. My role, my duty is to uphold the integrity of it. System integrity. Right? I don't want it to break because of me. I don't want the goodness. I don't want the truth. I don't want the love around me. That's part of the system to crack and to degrade. Because suddenly this little component became all too selfish. And I want to hoard some more for me, or I just want to give more to my own. I want to be dutiful. I want to be situated in dharma. I want to uphold the integrity. And in this shlok that I recited, he says, those who are like that, in the 9th chapter, 22nd shlok, I actually make sure, he says, I personally provide for them what they lack. He doesn't say, I arrange for them, something happens and they get it. He emphasizes the fact that I actually myself do this. In the Gita, if you believe it, Krishna says that I bring them what they lack and I preserve what they have. Yoga kshemam vahamyam. And so Sharanagati, then God aligned, comes in and that trusting it. That if I uphold the system integrity, the system will take care of me. If I take care of my little portion, part of the system, the big colossal system is behind me. That's the entire thing is with me. And therefore, I am not afraid of it. That it will take care of me. There is a very famous aphorism in the Vedas that Swami Vivekananda made more famous by proclaiming it's Dharmo Rakshati Rakshitaha. It's Ramakrishna Mission, one of its tenets is, and it says that the one who is truly protected is the one who actually protects his dharma. It is dharma alone that protects. The real protection comes from dharma. This is an Hindu dharma or Islam dharma or original dharma, swadharma. Right, in the Gita, 2 or 3 times the word comes swadharma or original nature. Wherever I've been put, whichever family, whatever team members, whichever employer, whatever my neighborhood is, whatever my color of my skin, whatever my country, at any given moment, time and space, continuum at any time and at any space, wherever I am, what is the best outcome I can produce through my presence? Given the circumstances, I don't control anything practically, I don't control much, maybe I don't control anything, and yet I have a task to perform. yet I can do something. What is it that I can do? How can I do it in my best possible way? My best possible, not the best possible, because the best is a myth. My best is absolute, right? The best is relative. Like my best could be whatever. So in my best possible way, while remaining, the second tenet is expectation free. Apeksha rahit. That I am not doing this because I want something from here. I will get something. I trust the third tenet, Sharanagati, that the system knows, that the system is observing, that the system is intelligent. The system is smart. It's been designed by an intelligent designer who is Sachetan, is all conscious, all around conscious. Every atom in the universe is observing. Every atom is hearing. Every atom is cognizing. I cannot escape my fraud, my corruption. At the same time, the system cannot accept my goodness and my integrity. That's how perfect the system is at any moment, at any place. And so with that realization, I become completely fearless, completely trusting. My only job is to do my best, right, at all times. And that's dharmanishta, which also then releases all anxiety from me because I'm expectation free. I'm trusting. I know that the right thing, what's right for me, what's best possible for me is going to happen. And that alone will happen. And through that, the Sharanagati comes as well. And so I'll pass this around. A couple other notes here, and then we'll pause for a moment to get some reactions. And then before we end, we want to get to then what happens. Well, give me one moment.
Oh.
What happens when my view of what happens when you reach the Siddha stage. So in this diagram, a few things to notice that will be different from the end state. This is the beginning state. This is a completely white background. There's nothing in the background because it's unknown. I don't know what God looks like, if there is even any God, if it's a man or a woman or a formful, formless, black, white, I have no idea. And therefore this is pause anyone from. Okay. So that's that one. In the middle I put Omkar just as a symbol. That someone could put a cross there or a star and then whatever, Chand, Chandrama. Omkar to me is an icon, is a symbol. Omkar in itself is not God, it's a symbol of God, it's an icon for God. It reminds us of God and therefore it's glorious. There are 3 green arrows pointing, meaning the question is, look, how can I be dharmanishta? What do you want me to do? When you say be apeksha rahit or be sharanagat, be dharmanishta, it's very clear in our shastra, manasa vacha karmana. Through the thoughts, watch your thoughts. Am I being apeksha rahit? As I'm thinking, as I'm lawn mowing, as I'm dishwashing, whatever I'm concocting in my mind. Is this being apeksha rahit? Is this expectation free, or am I building expectations slowly? If I am building expectations, I am poaching myself. I'm cutting my own legs. That's all. The only person I'm hurting is myself. And so through my thought, through my word, how I'm vocalizing what I'm saying to anyone that I'm saying, anything that I'm saying, is there an air of expectation? Is my vocabulary, is my tone, is my volume, is my choice of words, is it showing that, well, am I nuanced, am I being clever, am I using words to be smart and set some expectation that I didn't have to. No, I'm setting expectation that, but I did, and therefore are my words coming across as setting expectations? So through my thoughts, through my words, and of course through my deeds. That do I do what I did and then just wash my hands and turn my back and become bindas after that, or do I want to say, so what did you do with it? So what's going to happen from it? What am I going to get out of it? What's in it for me? Right? What's in it for me? Really, if expectation free, what's in it for me? God is what's in it for me. That's how powerful it is. If I worry about what's in it for me, then everything other than God could be in it. Whatever, take your pick, any trash, the car and the house and the relationship and the body and the name and the fame. Take your pick, you'll get something is in it for you, the diamonds and the watches. But if I don't worry about what's in it for me, then really what's in it for me is the whole system is in it for me. It's like Sudama's story shows that like he didn't go for what's in front of him. He got more than he could have imagined, for example. This is something for you to think about also. So it's showing that how do I do it? Through my thoughts, through my words, and through my deeds. And then the last thing is that these arrows tied to each other, the idea is that if I pick this piece of paper on one corner, all three corners, they don't have a choice. They have to come with it because they're interconnected, right? I don't have to somehow figure out how am I going to pick up all four corners. And so if I start somewhere on the path of Gita, like I did years ago on Dharmanishta, for example, focusing, committing to my duty, it's connected to Sharanagati. The thoughts are going to come, the revelations are going to come, the knowledge will start to shine. That, as the more I'm being dutiful, someone is watching out, someone is doing something for me, that's feeling right. Or that the joy that I get just from being dutiful is just so immense that this is fading in glory. What's in it for me? I don't care. If it happens, happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It doesn't matter. I'm not as worried about it. The more I'm focused here, Dharmanishta. Or if I say, no, well, I don't know what Dharma means, I don't want to know what Dharma means, I'm going to work on Apeksha Rahit, on expectation free. Whatever I say, I do, or I think, I will watch and make sure that there are no expectations. Automatically, that will pull us more closer and closer to Dharma and will bring to us what God aligned means. Or if someone says neither of those, I'm just going to depend on God, think about God, align with the system, be happy with what I'm given, then apeksha will start to reduce and dharmanishta will. And so it says dharmanishta for myself, apeksha rahit from others, and sharanagati of God. So there are three aspects, because for us, there's me, there's you all, and there's God. For the ignorant, for the premature, for the immature, for the formative stages, there's like there's I am here, all the people are there, and God is there, right? And it starts to compress the vision. The more we grow on the path of knowledge from this sadhak to siddha, there's no longer three, there's two, and then at some point there's no longer even two, there's only one, and that one is not me, that one is God alone, right? In me and everyone else also. But right now we are in the world of three. There's me, there's everyone else, and there's God. And so I process it like, for me, what do I have to do? So my only duty towards me is to be dharmanishta, to be dutiful. What do I do regarding others? I remain expectation free from others. No matter who it is, my wife, my son, daughter, father, brother, those who report to me, my boss, anyone around, no expectation, right? And what do I do with God? The third one, I'm aligned with God. So let me pass this around, Madhvi. And then me. By the way, so hit, this is an interesting word while Madhvi is looking at it. Hit is well-being, right? We all know that. So whether you add a ra to it or sa to it makes a difference. Ra hit or sahit. So when we say sahit is like, this is going to be helpful for you, this is going to be good for you. Ra in Sanskrit is that which cuts. Ari, ara, the Ari is enemy. It cuts you. Ari Sudan, Krishna's name. Also, so Rahit is suggesting that apeksha mein hit nahi hai. Apeksha rahit mein hit. You have to cut apeksha. You have to get rid of, destroy apeksha if you want hit. It'll come up again, which is when I'll bring up. But let me start with Dushan Bhai. If you looked at it, any thoughts, any reactions to it before we get to the end state of it?
It will.
So just one quick clarity, by God aligned, by Sharanagata, I do not mean bhakti or praying or worshipping or puja. I mean acceptance. So one thing you might remember, expect nothing, accept everything cheerfully, right? कि अपेक्षा कुछ न करे, स्वीकार सब कुछ करे, आनंद से, आनंद में. जो भी हो रहा है अपनी ओर से जो बढ़िया में बढ़िया कर सकते थे. When we get to the 18th chapter, I frequently remind people, I think it's the 14th or the 15th shlok in the 18th chapter, Moksha Sannyas Yoga, Sri Krishna enlists 5 different reasons that always come into play for anything that happens in the world. Anything that happens in the world ever. He says there are always these 5 different forces at play. And the doer, karta, and one of the 5. There are 4 other forces that the doer isn't even aware of. That whatever happened, well, there is so much other complexity that was playing at it. जिस बच्चे की चिंता कर रहे हैं, ये ऐसा नहीं कर रहे, जिससे अपेक्षा कर रहे हैं, उसका प्रारब्ध क्या है, उसकी ट्रेजेक्टरी कहाँ है, उसके संस्कार कैसे है, उसके डिज़ायर्स क्या है, उस आत्मा की सर्च, where that atma must, because ultimately God is expanding through all of us in all different directions to maximize the experience. उसी रास्ते से भगवान एक ही जाएगा तो one soul is enough to go in that exact direction. In fact, no 2 souls. In the most efficient God, and the most smartest God, no 2 souls will ever take the same path. Because that's a waste. Because the second soul's journey was wasted. Because each soul's journey, ever expanding in all 365 degrees, in fact global meaning like 3-dimensional expansion, each soul has to expand in a different way. And so that knowledge comes in the Siddha Avastha, because you're able to see that visual. And that is very pacifying. Always बहुत शांत कर देता है. Then what you want to do is to support that soul's journey in love. Right? And when you get to the second chart, 2 of 2, you'll see that you want to support that. You want to be conducive to that, enable that. जैसे मैंने कहा था एक बार नीलम बहन के हम लोग कर रहे थे कि अभी अब suppose Ashay has started on his path of life and he listens to something he doesn't listen, or Kana, whomever, right? Nitya Shali, they listen to some things that we want and we think this is the right way to do it, and like can't believe they wouldn't listen to us. I was giving a visual that if I'm standing, दो उदाहरण दिए थे मैंने कि मैं अगर if I'm standing by a highway, by the roadside, right next to the highway, and if there is a Mack truck 18-wheeler going 80 miles per hour in front of in some lane, oh तो इधर से आ रही, I can see it, I'm safe because I'm standing back, इधर से आ रही and it's just going past. As it passes across me, if I say फूक मारी मैंने, कितनी भी मारी, वो कितनी हिलेगी, वो Mack truck जो, how much will I be able to disrupt it from its journey? Science informs that a little bit, yes. It's not that कुछ नहीं हिलेगा, है ना, thermodynamic laws inform us, laws of physics, chemistry, that थोड़ी सी हिलेगी, लेकिन really is that meaningful? वो आके निकल भी गई. So yeah, I had some effect, but its trajectory was predetermined. It had determined its trajectory that it's going to go towards. Now I must try to influence, I must still try to, because I'm also the part of that same God that's flowing in it, so that the overall system across the board is achieving the best outcome, the best result. But I cannot count on कि मेरी फूक से इसका बदलेगा. Second example मैंने दिया था कि उधर से उस दीवार में इसके पीछे से किसी ने arrow shoot किया और वो इधर जा रहा है. As it is passing through me, I said, what chance do I have as it's just flowing through me to stop it? I can make an effort. And so having that realization, yet this is why this dharma is dutiful. System integrity, upholding is difficult. What I wanted to say, not dutiful, and yet we must. Therefore, we cannot say, well, if I can do nothing, then what am I going to do? There's nothing I can do. Therefore, I'm not going to do anything. Then I'm not being dutiful. You know? But through this struggle emerges the vision. Through this struggle between what the dutiful and the expectation free, it did emerge for me. I'll let you in on that, which is why I crafted this to distribute it, to share it, so that others may benefit from it also. It does, and it will. If it did for one, it will for any number as well. So that's one mistake, or clarification, that God aligned, I am not suggesting arti, manjire, bhajan, fool, pede, kuch nahi. Acceptance, inclusion. Aligning is not worshipping, right? Aligning is going with it, supporting it. The second is, this still becomes difficult, feels unwieldy because we think dharma is still in the material form. Even if you watch your language or words, we're talking about our kids, our close ones, we're all still talking about the material form, body form. We're still completely steeped in, and we know, but we have forgotten. No, but yeah, I'm not talking about your body, your relationships. I'm talking about you. I'm talking about you are seeking something and you can become siddha. ये बॉडी तो गिर जाएगी, ये बॉडी की सब बॉडी गिर जाएगी, वो होंगे नहीं होंगे इसके नहीं, इसका तो कोई मतलब नहीं है. And this is not it. This is where animals live, right? That's what animals do. They only think of and worry about and provide for the body. Humans are different because we can rise above, we can go beyond that, we can question, and we can do something about that question to try to answer it. That what is beyond the body? It doesn't feel like I'm just the body. It cannot be I'm just the body. How come I have no idea where I came from if I'm the body? How come no one has ever figured where the body goes? What happens to the person when the person dies? If I don't know where I came from, if I don't know where I go, then what is the point of accumulating all of this? Because it's all going to finish when I end. I'll never know what happened with it. Where is all the joy gone? All this thinking, this insightful, incisive questioning is the seeker in that chart that wants to know the answers and wants to experience that end state. And so you do have to force yourself, push yourself. Don't settle, don't compromise, don't shortchange, don't apna nuksan na kare by so easily slipping into the physical form conversation. Be vigilant, be diligent, be forceful, uplift ourselves and each other. And like, no, we're talking about. So then, what is dharma? That's at some point we got to bring it back again. Sat Chit Ananda is our real dharma.
What is that?
Satchidananda. Right? So Sat is existence, for example, like the principle existence. That Chit is the principle of knowledge itself. Not that I know this, you know a lot more, I know a lot less, therefore you're smarter. It's all relative. But if I'm knowledge itself, whatever is known is because I exist. Anything known that anyone knows anywhere at any time is first because knowledge is there. Knowledge has to be there before the knower or the object that is known. Right? And so that's Chit. Sat is existence, like knowledge. I was saying that I cannot be perished, I cannot be killed, I cannot be destroyed because I'm existence itself. The real me. I'm not talking about this body. Right? So because the Power Ranger, okay, the Power Ranger. And then Ananda is I no longer, once the realization occurs, I'm no longer at the mercy of any external stimuli, any external dependencies. Anything from the outside, any person, any stimulus, any object, any joy, any sight, sound from the outside for me to become happy, to bring joy to me. Can you please say this, could do this, show me this, feed me that? Because I am joy. When joy is where I am. First I have to be there for the joy to be experienced. I have to be alive for the rasgulla to be sweet. I have to be alive for the sight to be pretty and all that, right? It is because I am living that I am able to perceive the joy in it. This sight is reminding me reminding me of the joy that I am. It's not inserting joy through my eyes or my ears or through my tongue. It's not saying, okay, here's the package. This is made of joy. Gulab Jam, Rasgulla are not made of joy, right? Because they're just made of atta, whatever, butter and shakkar and all that. And they're good or bad or whatever. But they are on the tongue, it reminds me of sweet, of joy. Because I am that joy. So Satchidananda, the combination of those three, it's our real dharma, meaning my quality, my intrinsic quality, my inherent nature, something that cannot change, that cannot be changed, because that's who I am. How can I change? How am I going to change who I actually already am originally? It's the original nature, it's the original quality. And so secretly under that dharma nishta, while for starters I start off with ever dutiful as a father, really, if you want to get to the siddha stage, is to be committed to that. Nishtha is commitment, loyalty. Dharma nishtha is very dedicated, very loyal, very doggedly anchored to that, uncompromisingly clear about it. That's nishtha, right? As we say. So dharma nishtha is so not forgetting that's my real nature, that's who I am. Then ये तो ऐसे फिर छूट जाते हैं अपेक्षा because then you realize कि this is all fun, this is all amusement, this is all humor, this is just no big deal, no anxiety, no stress. But that comes closer. Just like how we pay mortgage, निकालते 30-year, 15-year, 20-year mortgage. In the beginning, first 5-10 years, we're just paying the principal, or the interest, no principal. Like, when am I going to start paying the interest? And then it flips at some point, and then you're starting, and towards the end, you're really big time paying the principal. Aise hi, when you start on this path, then this material dharma starts to become clearer and open up into the spiritual dharma of the Atma. So we must stay on that. I'm sorry, it took a detour. You also asked a question. That Satchidananda topic is so all important, Ashay, that there is a whole session on it in the past. We can, maybe the next time we can, because it's the middle point between God and Maya. It is the most important subject to understand in spiritual awareness and realization. It is the number one thing one has to realize and understand properly for self-realization. And ultimately for God realization, Satchidananda. Because to the left of it, if you will, or what it is coming out of, is full and complete God. And what's farther from it, to the right of it, what's outside of it, is this entire cosmos. And we, the Satchidananda, is that in the middle of God and the entire cosmos. And they're not three separate entities. They're the same, they're the projection. Just like दिवाली का जब अनार लगाते हैं, like you light that tree that lights up, उसमें से वो निकलता है बाहर और उसी में से बाहर बड़ा निकलता है. They're not like three different. It's like everything is coming from the same, and then it's like
Fireworks, the fountain.
yeah. So it's ultimately the same, but the expression is it's in where do you identify? If you identify with that little spark that reached up above, that looks so pretty, but it also died and it fell and it's dead. Or do you identify with the flame that's bringing it out? Or do you identify with the source with that has it all? And there is a way to change your identification only in the human form that is possible. We can, and so there's a lot to be said about that. Let me slow down here because I do want to finish this. Unless you all think, I think we can finish the second part. I'm looking at time. You got more appetite for it? Okay.
Going back to expectations, can I ask a question real quick?
Yeah. You must make an effort. So again, you look at yourself as a component of this system. What is right for the system integrity? That if someone is only taking, whether that someone is you or someone else, if someone is only taking through selfish motives and keeping, then there is some corruption happening in the system's integrity, right? Sooner or later, there is going to be some crack that will go into the system. Would you agree that you are part of the system and that someone else is part of the system also? The best way to keep balance in that little subsystem, that small system that you're talking about, is that everyone does their part. Simple as that, is it not?
But if they don't, because like that's like assuming that everybody will do their part, right?
Right, and so that assumption is not expectation. That's the system setting. The system is set in everyone doing their part. Starting out, the expectation is that, well, you all have your own resources, you all have your own karmas, your own, wherever you're born, whatever you're endowed with, and you're going to play out your plan, your trajectory, your soul's journey.
And if they don't? Like if they don't...
There is a problem.
So like that's...
There is a problem.
So how do you...
It's a micro sin connected. So sin is simply that I am poaching the system somewhere, that I am doing something that is against the grain, that is going to sooner or later, if it continues, is going to breach the system. It's going to crack the system. And the system is strong enough. It's an ecosystem. It's fragile, but it's also robust. It will put up with it. It will tolerate enough. It will try to teach that person a lesson that you didn't pay this, that a few times. Sooner or later, when the system really starts to get in trouble, the Lord says in the 4th chapter, Yada yada hidharmasya, Glanir bhavati bharata. Glani is passing out. He says, when the system is about to pass out, it's been so weakened because some miscreants are so abusive. They're just like constantly, ignorantly, only the ignorant do commit sins. Right? And all sins are committed out of ignorance, simply that. I'm thinking, this is who I am, and therefore the more I have, the happier I will be. And therefore, aren't I smart? I can steal this way, I can beg from them, never return, I can borrow this, that, and therefore I'm collecting that. And the more and more ignorance. And so when the system integrity becomes really jeopardized, then the Lord says, worry not, there is a system upholder that he'll come.
No, I was just going to say, but I think we'll have to analyze, we can do it separately. It's a good one to do. I think he has probably more questions, but example that he has.
It's a good example, yeah.
It's a good example, but I think it requires, from this point of view, it requires more analysis, right? You have specific questions, specific answers
but
that you're seeking, and maybe it may require more time to go into.
Yeah. But to be clear, I do want to make sure that your question is answered at least somewhat, Asha, because you asked it of me. That is not assumption is not an expectation. That is the right expectation, so if we can call it that, which is the system setting. That hey, we agreed to this. I'll pay up front. You'll pay me back. It's like the system is not. There's no disintegrity in it. No. Now, if you say I'm not going to pay it, I'm just going to come and crash your party. I'm not gay. Okay, well, we'll tolerate that. It's not that you're going to go on the street because of that or anything like that. But there has been some knock on the system. Some tremor felt that, wait a minute, there's something not right. These are small tremors that will be tolerated. But there is an equal and opposite effect. It is a perfect system. Meaning that whatever, this is the law of karma now we're getting into, right? If something has been stolen, even if a small tremor was created by someone who did something wrong, it's going to come back. There's just no way to avoid it. Can't tell, don't know when, where, and which form, from whom, and how. But if I have stolen something from someone that I knew I should not have, something, somewhere, at some point is going to be stolen from me. It doesn't have to be money stolen for money. The grief that I gave, it's more, the currency is not the actual thing that was stolen. The currency is the feeling that I gave. If my friend steals from me how I felt, I may not even care about the $1,000, but I might be really deeply hurt because of the distrust, the disloyalty. So what might come back to that person might not necessarily be the $1,000 come back, but some deep hurt from unknown. So the currency is the feelings that we're giving, the experiences that we're giving. And so watch for that when we are interacting with other people. What kind of experience am I giving someone? How am I showing up? What's my behavior like?
But I can't find like the difference between agreement and expectation is focus on the outcome.
Yeah, I think what I heard, I think is so important. Well said, Madhi. Asha, that you still have to represent the system, though. Remember, you still are part of the system, and so if someone has not returned your money, you still have to voice it. The Gita, in fact, did the opposite. I am so glad you do not find solace in it, because Krishna did not either. Arjun was prepared to say, well, I don't want it. It's okay. I'll run away. And he said, no. You got to come back and you have to claim it. You got to demand it, because at this point, the system is about to break if you go beyond that. They went first 3 times. They said, okay, that's fine. Can you give us like a village maybe? Can you give us a little bit or this, that, maybe give us late? None of that. It's just like you might say to that person that, can you give me half? Can you give me next month? Can you give me in installments? Try everything. But you don't want to like wage a war over $50 or whatever. But this wasn't even also for the amount. This was more because that ruler had become so abusive that at this point the system would have become disintegrous. So you must represent the system because you are part of the system, right? You must voice it. There's no place to be coward or hide or foolishly forgive either. But you also want to move on. If it's not, because like the first time Arjuna asked for it, it was not that like immediately waging war. The time will come and when the real big payment will have to be made. Yeah.
So you're saying like when
Do is just like at least shed some light on what this might look like, and you can bring it up next time. So dharmanishta for myself, you saw that at the bottom, and then apeksha rahit from others, and sharanagati of God. God meaning the system around us. We are all parts of it. There is no atom here that's not God. With that vision I say God. I don't mean God who's sitting up there or so. All pervasive God. Vishwa ke anu mein vyapta wo Vishnu. Akhila brahmandama ekato Shri Hari Vasudeva sarvam iti samahatma sudurlabha. He himself says in the Bhagavad Gita that everything, everywhere, yomam pashyati sarvatra sarvam cha mai pashyati. One who is able to see everything in me and me in everything, everyone. That's how densely I mean God. I don't mean God here, there, anywhere else. Like right here, right now, in you and me and in every little thing. And so aligned with that whole colossal, massive single system. These are not broken systems, different. So you have your own, this is one system and this is one system. Together we're one as that system. And so aligning with that because we have one goal. Every one of us has one goal. Upholding the integrity of that Satchidananda or original nature that we'll visit maybe next time. And so aligning with that. Not trying to create while that's happening some little thing of my own. Because that's ignorance, that's wrong, and that's going to break away. Because any time, the moment a wave plans to part from the ocean and go just to the shopping mall real quick, ocean, where's the ocean going? The ocean's going to stay there. I'm going to go quick, make a trip. The wave's going to evaporate and vanish. So staying with the flow there. As we progress and as we reach the end, as we reach the Siddha stage, the fulfilled state, the overflowing state, same Gita Yoga system, a few things start to happen. This is my experience, so I don't know if this is the same interpretation. You see how there was this white background. This is really where I had started. Like, I don't know who God was, where he was, whether there was God or she. And I was told, start worshipping Om, which I did. All that. So it started to change. And a picture started to emerge. And I don't know, from afar you may not be able to see, but as I'll pass around, you'll see that you start to vaguely identify, oh wait, there is actually a form, there's actually a person, there's actually someone, there is a one. This whole system is one person that you can get to. And then that Om also faded away from my life, and it can get to, and it's replaced with Yoga. Very different concept. It's connected, it's united with, connected with, right? And so it's simple. It's not pompous. It's not overburdened. It's very light touch, very light-hearted, very simple, very easy in every moment. Sahaj sthiti. And so what the three the aspects of it, dharma nishta assumes that there is a set of rules, dharma, assumes that there are principles, assumes that there are some things that I have to remember, keep in mind, and follow those, be loyal to those. And I am following the dharma. A siddha stage is where dharma is following the siddha, meaning whatever the siddha does cannot be right or cannot be wrong any moment, right? Whatever the siddha is doing or the yogi is doing is right because the person no longer exists. It's really the representation of the system that is set in goodness, that is set in truth, that is set in love, that has no expectation other than pure, uncontaminated love, that only lives and breathes that entity to spread and bring out goodness. then therefore whatever is done must be right. And therefore we see when we go to India, when there are these saints who come from India to here, that they're giving lectures in the halls to thousands of people, and people are taking notes, and whatever they say, people start doing that. and yet that same person was initially studying the scriptures and following dharma. Now dharma is following them. And so in place of dharma nishta, it's replaced with sahaj sthit, as I interpret it. So this is dharma nishta, this has become sahaj sthit. So again, remember, ja is janmavachak, ajanma is unborn. The one who always exists is unborn. I mean, like, there's no question of his or her birth, because there was never a time when he did not exist. And saha is together with. So sahaj sthit is grounded in, is when you're always with God, when you're constantly with full and complete God. Then what worry do you have about dharma? What are you thinking? What mantra do I have to remember? Which upavas, which tirtha yatra, which dan, diya, na diya, kiya, na kiya, because that's sahaj sthit. And so my English word for it is spontaneously pure. It becomes spontaneous. It's not concocted, it's not deliberate, it's natural, it's effortless. So sahaj sthit. Apeksha rahit is also is seeded into something else, that, well, I actually had desired this, I had actually at some point wanted this, and I'm hoping that this happens. That's the apeksha. I hope that but to begin, if I don't even want anything, if I don't even need anything, then how can there be even any apeksha? And so the apeksha rahit is replaced with sankalpa rahit. There is no sankalpa. There is no need. There is no prompt for anything. And therefore there is nothing beyond that. So sahaj sthit, sankalpa rahit. And then the third, which was sharnagat, in which the idea was, well, there is this system and there's me. Or there is this God and then there is this me. I have to make sure that I am aligned with God. I want to uphold the system's integrity. In this stage, in the yogic stage, that is also lost and left behind, because it's replaced with love. When you're steeply immersed in love, when you're deep in love with anything, anyone, any goal, any person, there's no question of whether I'm aligned or not. You're not even thinking of you. There's only one. Right? The deeper the love is, the more the thought is of the beloved. The shallower the love is the distribution between the thought about the beloved and the lover. The lover is going to do this for the beloved, and the beloved is going to do this for the lover. That's shallow love. And the deeper and the deepest and the purest love alone is when it's just the one that I love. And so here my word for it was Krishna Premi, God immersed. That what do I have to care about whether I'm uske sharan hu ya nahi, kaun hai, kaisa hai, whether I'm worshipping him, uski puja kar rahe, aarti kar rahe, nahi kar rahe. Aarti nahi kar rahe, upas nahi kar rahe, kuch nahi kar rahe. I don't know, don't care. The only thing I'm immersed in is his love. And so everything has then just become spontaneous, effortless, pure, uncontaminated, constant, continuous, unbroken chain. And so it's a sahaj sthit in all circumstances, sankalpa rahit everywhere, and Ishwar Premi forever. So the dharma nishta transformed into sahaj sthit, apeksha rahit into sankalpa rahit, and the sharanagati into Ishwar Premi. And something in your heart, on your heart, will start to emerge without fail. That you will start to see, this is interesting. I once thought this was formless, nameless. So this is where I think we can reasonably stop. Let that pass on, and we'll get some reactions. If you're up to it, you can do 5 minutes of dhyan and then stop it. Jai Shri Krishna.